Navigating through the energies of New Earth is not an easy process and can become extremely overwhelming at times. As we all ascend into higher frequencies, we're all being guided to embrace our own unique divine pathway, a pathway created in the vibration of love. Join Vibe Nation radio host, international psychic medium Carrie Turcotte, as she guides her listeners to rediscover themselves by accessing the keys of knowledge that already exist within. Each week's show is divinely orchestrated to intertwine with the universal energies, allowing the listeners to go deeper within and understand the message being shared even greater. When you live in the frequency of love, there is no competition, so Carrie will be joined regularly by fellow soul family members who will bring forth wisdom and knowledge she knows should be shared on a global level. At the end of each show, Carrie will tap into the energies of the listeners to see what message Spirit wants to share with all those listening in for the upcoming week. If you really want to get to know who you truly are, come and join us now on Vibe Nation Radio, here on the IOM Radio Network.
Hello, 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 my friends, and welcome to Vibe Nation Radio, where I feel honored that Chris sent me a message not too long ago and said, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I guess we're doing the show together." I love this when this happens. And I'm so grateful that Chris Anderson, also known as One Feather, who is also on with me today, has been steering the ship over the summer while Carrie has been doing her thing and doing what she needs to do. And I feel honored that he called out and Spirit's like, "Let's do this." And we got a few signs, like, "What are we talking about?" I'm like, "Well, I heard this and I just saw this video and I think we need to talk about the solar eclipse and what's taken place." So I feel blessed to be back here, Chris. Thank you for reaching out to me, and I think we're going to have a really good show.
Yeah, I think it's going to be very on point and a lot to discuss because the solar eclipse, in a lot of ways, seems to be a huge catalyst for unexpected change. And, the most obvious thing that you can point at is what's going on in Texas because of this massive, massive storm that has just hit land and over the weekend pretty much devastated 20% of the state. So I think we are seeing things amp up. Things are getting a little bit more critical or extreme as we're moving forward here. And it's very important for people to realize that, the volatility of the current energies is definitely something that we need to pay attention to and to do our affirmations and to really work on seeing the truth behind all of these different things that are forcing change upon us.
Yes, absolutely. And I've noticed that with even over the last week since the eclipse, just people I've run into and conversations that strike up, and you can see it on a global level. It doesn't matter, where you are on your journey right now. Everyone's waking up in some way or another. And some come out and choose to not truly see the truth. But again, this is where everybody has to be patient, that we're all on our own journey, but by, really focusing on what's coming into your reality and putting energy there, it will be a ripple effect for those that are around you because they will start to see what's happening with you. And, again, I just feel that people have to realize we have to be patient right now with so many people because the frustration out there is pretty intense.
Yes, and there's a lot of anger that people were pretty much oblivious to, that, they were unaware that they were walking around with this baggage, all these different hidden emotions that all of a sudden are coming to the surface. And, it's very important that people realize that that sort of sudden surprise, because, it definitely is a shock when you are going through your day and all of a sudden, you just lose control for something that normally would not have any impact or make you in any way upset. Those things are showing up more and more and more. And we do have to stop and ponder the process that's going on in our consciousness here, because if you are subverting that energy, if you're trying to force it down and you don't want to look at it, and you know, you're failing to recognize it, honor it, embrace it, and bring it into the light, then you're probably going to have, you know, some pretty dramatic run-ins with people that you normally are close friends with, because that's just the way the energy is working right now.
Yes. We're all here to learn and teach at the same time. Remember that. You know, that, you know, we are the soul having this human experience, and we are allowed to be emotional. We're allowed to be angry. We're allowed to be frustrated. You know, you want to be able to let it out. You just don't want to live there. And with the energies, just what's happening in the universe and what's happening on Gaia, you put those two together and you see how this, you know, we still have 5 planets in retrograde, so we're still a lot of inner work doing, and it's coming out of people, and, you know, they're healing this, and it's a mass healing that's taking place on this planet right now.
Yeah, it's a necessary next step. I mean, we've been in a deep coma in many ways for quite a while now, and this is that first stirring of awakening, and so, you know, you really do have to give allowance for the fact that things are going to happen. Things are going to come up from deeper areas within your own subconscious that you have to transform. You know, and the way you transform these issues and these energies is to embrace it with love, to make love the bottom line in all of your interactions with people.
Yes. And that's hard to do when you go, like, and a lot of people do spiritual bypassing. We're all guilty of it. And, you know, but sometimes the Band-Aid comes off and it's like, okay, we really got to go in and do the shadow work here. And again, we all have the yin and the yang, my friends. And, you know, the doorway in to do the shadow work is embracing the ego. That when Mr. Angry comes up, it's okay to be angry. It's okay to, you know, cry like a baby if you need to be. This is allowing you to be real, to be able to have this human experience that we're here for. So, you know, there is no shame or guilt in what we're going through right now, because, again, we've all, you know, no one's perfect here. We're perfect in our own little way. Let's put it that way, where we're here to learn. We're here, like, you know, through grief, you experience joy. You know, this is where it's okay to go out there and be real, but again, to be use common sense and logic to, again, what you are actually speaking about as well.
Exactly. And, you know, looking at the astrology right now, we're in a very interesting cycle here, because if you just take it from the top, looking at, you know, the interaction of the planets, we've got Sun and Mercury are both still currently dwelling in the sign of Virgo. Mercury's retrograde. So it's pulling a lot of stuff up from that inner place where we seek nurturing. You know, Virgo is the sign of the Virgin, which is, you know, leads us into all kinds of mythology around conception, birth, regeneration, and growth. So we're being forced to look at what it is that we're giving birth to as individuals and bringing into this world. And then we've got Mars at the tail end of Leo at 25 degrees, and that's enshrined to Uranus at 28 degrees Aries, and Uranus is retrograde. So both of those planets, Mars and Uranus, can be very aggressive. They're very much representative of the male energy. And Uranus is a planet of, you know, unexpected transformation, unexpected shifts, unexpected change. Yeah. So we're seeing that as it's being manifest in events all around the world. We're seeing a lot of aggression come to the surface. We're seeing, especially in the United States, you know, a lot of issues around, you know, our identity as a nation being challenged, and our willingness to support everybody and everybody's lifestyle and everybody's spirituality. So, the planets are definitely a strong positive reflection of what's going on.
Yes.
The current
Absolutely.
energy that there's a current energy that's building that's today kind of spiking, so we'll be seeing some more fireworks, I would say, over the next few days, and that's Jupiter is exactly sextile to Saturn. Jupiter's in Libra,
Yes.
and Saturn's in Sagittarius. So there is going to be more of that shifting around, push-pull energy, and Saturn wants to constrict and define things. Jupiter wants to expand and just go crazy with stuff. So we'll probably see some more fireworks before the end of the week, and then over this coming weekend, there's going to be some, some strong demands made on all of us to be true to our, our journey here, true to our spiritual path and our physical path.
I'm loving what you're saying, because when we come back from commercial break, obviously we haven't talked in a bit because I've been out doing my thing, and what I've been channeling, it lines up exactly what you're talking about here, but my channel, how they have to have fun with things. So we're going to have a good laugh when we get back, because this intertwines with everything that you've been talking about. I love this. I love how Spirit brought us together today. I feel very blessed.
Yes, it was a perfect catalyst, exactly the right time, and I would say that, we're going to be seeing more people show up in our lives that we're not currently aware of. I see a lot of, people colliding, trying to make contact, trying to reach out to each other, so that this whole thing of oneness is advanced, and we'll be right back.
Beautiful. We'll be right back after this commercial break.
Your conscious lifestyle on steroids. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
Change and growth are part of natural life and also part of your spiritual life. Everyone needs support and guidance, especially during life passages. Upgrade yourself with the OMTimes Experts program. With OMTimes Experts, you have access to the best intuitive coaches, spiritual teachers, counselors, astrologists, and oracles. Our team was carefully selected so you can trust. Find out more at experts.omtimes.com.
Aloha, my name is Jennifer O'Neill, and I'd like to invite you to come join me every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Hawaii Standard Time for my show, Spirit Chat. Spirit Chat focuses on simplifying the process of using the spiritual tools and gifts you were born with in a way that fits into your everyday life. I also teach different techniques that will help you learn how to navigate the spirit realm and empower you on your own spiritual journey. So join me this Wednesday as I guide you through the spirit world.
How to be a great dad in 15 seconds. Bike ride, go fish, walk in the park, phone call, milkshake, play catch, picnic, fly a kite, tell jokes, laugh, talk, read a story, tell a story, bumper car, swing set, bowling, pillow fight, cut loose, stay tight. Whew. Because the smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
And we are back, and I am speaking with Carrie Turcotte, and we're just looking at all the different confabulations going on in this bizarre world we inhabit.
Perfect time. As soon as you say bizarre, I come back in. Love it.
Yes.
I just went to a different place.
Well, I can understand that. We definitely are being challenged with a little bit of that retrograde energy, and that does pull us back into those deeper realms within our own subconscious, which is trying to bring things to the surface so that we can look at them. And so this
Absolutely.
is a season of being kind of spacey.
Yes. And my channel has been referring to this as the wave. And they've been saying that there's two different boats that we will be on. One is the love boat, and the love boat is about your GPS of your love of where you're going for you, no one else. And then there's the Pirates of the Caribbean ship, where you need to go in and you get pulled over where you need to do your shadow work. And there's times where you can get high on the energy and you end up on the pirate ship, even though, you thought you were on the love boat. And they're saying this is where you have to embrace who you are. And they said the boat set sail on the 23rd. And when you were talking about there being a peak of energy today, I wrote that on Facebook this morning that we are peaking in this great healing today is what I picked up, that there's the energies from the solar eclipse, really has set into that DNA upgrading that's taking place. And when you get zapped with that kind of energy, it takes about 3 weeks to come into a physical level. So we're only like a third of the way. And they're saying that, come September, like we're widening this wave up and down, and depending on where boat you're on or what ship you're on, will depend on how you actually will navigate through this. And then on September 1st, we land on Fantasyland, where they're saying that where a lot of illusion will start to break, where if you have been on the right track, focusing on self and focusing on the love, that what you've been vibing on without expectations might start to come part of your fantasy, because it's like, wow, this is beautiful. But for others, it will be the reality slap from spirit to say you're being unrealistic here, that you need to see the reality here, and we're not living in foo-foo land, we're living in reality here. So let's get back to the here and the now. And it's a grounding time, they're saying, about grounding yourself with love to where you want to go so that you can jump forward. Because when we get to the 3rd, they're saying we go into an energy cluster, and it's like a tug of war of the pirates. Like the Pirates of the Caribbean and all their hundreds of boats show up at Fantasyland and try to take you down until the 9th, where I've got a monster mash taking place where all people's darkest fears are going to be coming out. And then the next day we set sail, and the next place we're heading to is Treasure Island. But again, what are you going to find in Treasure Island, which we don't get to until the 24th? Is it going to be those gemstones that you've been focusing on, the work you've been doing? Or is it going to be all these hidden skulls and stuff that you haven't been dealing with that the universe is going to make you now deal with? Because, again, we're all in this together, my friends. So it's kind of interesting how...
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was going to say the big revelation when, that gigantic spotlight in the sky throws a ton of energy and illumination into all the events that are building right now is this coming full moon, and that's going to be on the 6th of September, and that's going to be pretty much dead center in the middle of Pisces, so it's going to conjunct Neptune, and it's going to have kind of a woo-woo energy that it's going to be bringing up from a lot of hidden regions of the mind, and it'll be in sextile to Pluto and Capricorn. So this full moon is going to be juiced up, and I wouldn't be surprised. I know this is probably not the best thing to put out as far as a prediction, but it would not surprise me if we didn't have another extreme storm situation start building right around that time. So, just when you think that you can lay down and take your shoes off and rest for a while, I think we do have things lining up that are going to be pretty aggressive in forcing us to change over the next 3 or 4 months. So, it's like, don't let your guard down. Make sure that you're doing your work and that you're setting aside a little bit of a, some kind of a first aid kit, because there are going to be crisis situations arise where you're either going to be helping yourself or your neighbor get through a cycle of high water and stressful conditions.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's in the middle of that first extreme energy cluster that we go into in September. And we haven't been in an extreme energy cluster since the 22nd. There was one, I picked one up around the solar eclipse about, it was either a fear energy or a love energy that you would be illuminating out. And the love coming from the universe was nothing but love. So if you were able to tap in, like myself, I went outside and I just got blasted. I couldn't believe the intensity of the energy. And I'm up in Ontario, right? But it was, to me, I felt it at a DNA level. I felt the urge of, grounding. I was out in water and allowing the energy to come through me into Gaia and grounding with Gaia and knowing that, we're all in this together. We truly are.
Exactly. Yeah, and this coming full moon, I think, is going to make for some big shifts
yes.
for things that have really captured people's attention. And one of the things that wouldn't surprise me would be for the current occupant of the White House to either resign or run into a real brick wall and be confronted by Congress as well as a lot of his constituency. So it very much is a secondary effect of the eclipse, and it is impacting people who have their sun in Gemini or Libra or Aquarius. I mean, those three signs are definitely going to be feeling a big shakeup, and of course, when you have a shakeup, then that's the door that opens for something new, for you to take your next step. But, I do think we're going to see a lot of craziness throughout September and October. It's going to be pretty intense.
Oh, yeah. And as I'm saying this, because I know how connected we are in higher levels, and I can hear my dad in the back going, the monster mash. We wore the monster mash, the monster mash. I can hear him talking about, people are going to be, all over the place because they're fears. And again, like if you break that down into a vibration, what fear are these people dealing with? Are they dealing with anger? Are they dealing with frustration? Are they dealing with jealousy? Are they dealing with boredom? Again, like kind of go in, my friends, and see it as a vibration and try and heal the vibration of that which you're working with, because maybe all of your life you've been frustrated, but there's certain points in your life that have been the catalyst to make you frustrated. So, this is where you can go back and do some shadow work to say, hey, you know what, I was really frustrated when this took place. And it's not a lot of shadow work to do, but at least you're going in and forgiving all involved so that you can go a little bit deeper to another place where, it might not be so easy to forgive yourself and all involved. And Chris, you know this best with what you do with A Course in Miracles, that you have to forgive all involved to be able to heal.
Exactly. And the foundation of that healing is on the awakening to the reality that all of this is an illusion. It is just a state of dreaming. We fell asleep in our home in what some people refer to as heaven, but we reside within God, and we are as perfect as God is. And that may sound like heresy to a lot of people, but the truth is, we are God in expression, and we need to be much more aware of the way that we're approaching things and the things that we are setting into motion, because we do have an astonishing level of power, and we end up creating a lot of chaos because we're unwilling to acknowledge the fact that we are powerful beings.
Mm-hmm. And one thing I have noticed since the eclipse with those that I've spoken to, a lot of people truly found that connection with God within, knowing that they truly are God, because they now actually feel that blissful state within. That is something I've noticed with a lot of people that I'm working with. So, it's nice to hear that from people saying that I found the God within me. I'm finding this bliss. I'm seeing it. I'm feeling it now because they've done the work. And again, whatever took place during that solar eclipse, it's created magic for a lot of people that I know. And again, it seems that a lot of us are on different planes as well, that one thing you're experiencing and the person right beside you, what they're experiencing are two completely different things. And I know you and I can get into this in the next segment because I know you're experiencing probably this at your end as well.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And basically, it's, we've been in an identity crisis that has gone on for multiple lifetimes. And so over the course of multiple incarnations, we have gotten deeper and deeper and deeper into this illusion of who we are. We've created one ego identity after another, and a lot of them are really, there's a lot of darkness. There's the idea of being a hero in one cycle and then being the arch villain in the next. And so that's really what we're at the threshold of, is coming to a point where we can understand the truth of who we are. We can understand our true nature.
Yes. And I mean, that makes sense to why they're saying we're on the love boat at one point and we're also on the pirate ship at the same. This is about, again, finding that dark and the light that we have within all of us, that the yin and the yang, and to be able to embrace one another, to know that, we are a soul having human experience, and that, it's okay to say, no, I'm not doing this, or put your foot down, but there's also a way to be able to do that in a kind way.
Yes, and to really live in a space of compassion, because that really is what, the real key to transformation and healing is, to have compassion first for yourself, and then to extend that out to everybody that you encounter. So compassion is the foundation that we're going to have to start building on over the next few months here. And anytime somebody is in attack mode, whether it's, attacking somebody politically or spiritually or whatever, it is diminishing all of us.
Absolutely. Okay, let's keep that thought there, Chris, and we'll be right back after this commercial break. Stay tuned.
Free your mind with OMTimes Radio, IOM FM. Have you ever wondered how to change your love paradigm? The secret key is finding a love partnership, not just a regular connection. How do you find these? Through conscious relationships. Ascending Hearts Dating is a dating site for people like you that believes in second chances and a different type of spiritual connection. Try Ascending Hearts for free today at ascendinghearts.com and change your love paradigm. Ascending Hearts, the premier dating community for the spiritually awake.
Eros Evolution is where sexuality and spirituality meets. Join me, clinical sexologist Martha Tara Lee, on Eros Evolution on Thursdays, 4 p.m. Eastern on OMTimes Radio.
When Dad needed help getting around, I became his driver. Soon enough, it was up to me to be his housekeeper and financial manager, too. When he moved in, I became his cook and even his nurse. But no matter what roles I play, I know I'm still his daughter.
We understand the roles you play. So to help, we created aarp.org/caregiving, where you can connect with experts and other caregivers. Visit aarp.org/caregiving. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Vibe Nation Radio, where today Chris Anderson and myself are just living in the moment and having a beautiful conversation about what is currently taking place, what we've experienced, what we've seen happening, what's happening within the astrology. And the whole month of September, Spirit just wants me to start with this, and then they're saying that Chris can intertwine with whatever it is that you're about to talk about. He's going to love this, that they're saying that they really want people to understand in September, you really need to listen to your higher self. This is about you getting in tune with your soul, with allowing you to listen to your gut, because there is going to be challenging times and challenging energies to navigate through. This is why they're calling this the wave. And they're saying that, are you going to go in and daydream about where you're going? Or are you going to go in and quiet the mind and meditate to where you're going? They're saying because, again, depending on what boat you're on, are you on the boat or the ship, a lot of people are going to start to have these, when the universe can come in through your higher self, or your higher self and God can give you those aha moments, can give you the signs, the synchronicities.
Hello? Well, I think Carrie may have cut out for a second there, but as she was saying, you know, the whole resolution of all the things that are going on right now for all of us is to arrive at a point where we are able to engage in prayer and fully connect to Spirit. I think that's really the core of you know, what's going on in this journey that we're all on to rediscover who it is we actually are. And I'm hoping that Carrie is going to be rejoining us here, but looking at the current energies through the lens of the tarot might be kind of interesting now. Hello?
Hello, that's interesting.
Hello? Yes.
I'm here. Am I back?
You are back, yes. And I was just about to say what I thought I would do right now. We were talking about prayer and talking about, you know, going deeper into our true identity. So I thought I would turn a couple of tarot cards just to see what the imagery is that's coming up around that whole idea of rejoining with the divine and connecting through prayer. And the first card that comes up is the Eight of Rods, which is the card of communication, interestingly enough. But I think it's calling us to look at divine communication, the arrows of love, the arrows of divine love. And Jupiter is in the background, so that would indicate that expansion of our heart, expansion of our capacity to surrender to our connection to higher self is really the key element. The next card that comes up is the Hanged Man, and that's very appropriate because we are in a cycle here of being suspended. And until we get both feet back on the ground, until we reclaim our grounding, you're going to feel kind of like a cork on the sea bouncing around. So you are going to have to really work on anchoring yourself, not in the physical world. The physical world will follow wherever your consciousness goes. So if your consciousness is affirming that strong connection to Spirit, then that's, you know, where your next big opening is going to occur. And the final card that comes up here in just a short 3-card spread is the Fool card. And this is kind of calling you out. The Fool is the imagery gives us the idea of an absolute state of trust and belief that the hands of the universe, the hands of the divine, are going to be there to support you. So whatever it is that you have been feeling a building or a growing sense of, I need to do this, you're entering that stage now where if you don't take that leap of faith, you're going to find that a lot of doors that have been wide open for you are going to start closing very rapidly because it's time to take that action, and it's time to develop that level of trust where you can actually just, you know, relax into it and go for it.
Beautiful. And it's very interesting that you're saying this because when I heard I was on the thing, and for some reason you guys just couldn't hear me because I was actually telling a message while you were doing prayers, and I didn't hear you doing prayers, and all of a sudden I came in and you were talking again. Like, that's just, I love how the energy's working with us, because I was channeling about the importance of listening to your higher self and getting in tune with yourself during the month of September, because they were saying that there's a lot of challenging times that are going to be taking place, but they want to make sure that you're not daydreaming, that you're actually quieting the mind and going into a meditative mode, even if it's only for a few minutes, because they say that's where the aha moments are going to come. That's where things are going to start to blossom with the clarity that you need, because, again, they're almost saying that what's taken place since the eclipse, that there has been a healing that's taking place at a deeper level for all on Gaia. So it's almost like the veil has lifted a little bit more to allow a deeper healing process to take place. So we can almost like detach, but we're not detaching. We're healing, they're saying. And this is where there's great growth that's going to start to take place. But we're going to have to navigate through September and October, knowing that we're riding this wave. But again, your higher self has got the GPS. And you just need to trust that as you're filling it through your vibes, the vibes of love, the vibes of whatever, compassion, common sense, logic, you kind of put them all together and know that you're trusting your soul to where it's going. So it's interesting that you were saying that you have to listen to God and listen to higher self, because that's exactly what I was talking about when you guys couldn't hear me.
That's kind of fun. So there was a parallel vibe going on, and that really is what this whole thing is all about, as far as spiritual evolution and the evolution of our identity, is having the ability to not only trust yourself to take the next step, but being able to look at what's paralleling around you, what it is that you are joining forces with. So it's like becoming the leaf on the river and allowing yourself to flow with it, and then observing that you're not the only leaf there, that there are a lot of other aspects to the advancement of your own identity's truth and your ability to hear and see and respond to life on multiple different levels.
It's very interesting, as you've been saying this, Spirit has been saying to me, for all of those that are listening, this is just something you can do later on, is if you've got a set of tarot cards, shuffle your tarot cards until you feel the urge to stop. We know how that works. But then go in and find your Two of Cups. And then focus on what is before it and what's after it. And they said it will give you a story of what's taking place with partnerships. That's kind of cool. Just as you were talking about that, I got pulled into that. So
very cool.
This is a little prezzy for those that are listening in later, that, you want to know where you're focusing with Spirit right now. And I went in as I was doing this, as you were talking, and I got, on either side, I got the Four of Cups. So that's like think. It's like, got to slow it down, my friends, and quiet the mind. And then on the other side, it's the Four of Pentacles, which it was upside down. So to me, it's about, opening up to the universe. Don't be so miserly with your vibrations. Open them up and know that your vibrations is where you lead yourself in the new. This is what the new world is all about. It's feeling your way and knowing that you're connected to God and you can find your way home.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool that I picked up on that.
It is, and that actually can become a good format for just a daily spread for people if you really want to find out, where you're at in your journey and what you should be addressing during the upcoming day. Pardon me. That whole idea of the Two of Cups is finding that inner connection, finding that union with your own higher self, and using that format, you can definitely give yourself kind of a little bit of a accelerated movement forward in your own process of going through the day, of journeying through the day, and seeing yourself, evolve as a result of simple little tools like that.
Mhm. And I remember I heard that on I think it was Spirit Connections with John Holland, and Hence was on there, and she did something similar, but it was about the star card, the wish card, and it was something specifically that was taking place at that time within energy in the universe. And she said that was the card that was representing it, to do this kind of the same thing. So, I want to give a heads up to her, because I do remember that's where I got the idea, but Spirit just brought it in right now to talk about the Two of Cups. So I love how Spirit works. See, this is something I listened to months ago, and now Spirit brought back into my channel to say, use it this way. But again, this is where you give, credit, where credit's due. It came from Ann Hent, so just letting people know that.
That's very cool. And, I think the fact that, like I said, the Two of Cups came up in your consciousness is really very cool because it's reaffirming your connection to your spiritual truth. So, and
yes.
The other central part of that image of the Two of Cups in most of the traditional decks has a caduceus in there that's very, very prominent, and that's that idea of healing on a deep spiritual level. So the old symbol of Hippocrates and that idea of being able to heal the body by healing the mind comes to the surface once again, and that's really the way that the whole thing is done. That's the way the journey falls into place for us.
Yes. So the overall reading for everyone, again, this is just a general reading for all listening. You want to do your own, go a little bit deeper, but this is about, go within and quiet the mind. Don't allow the monkeys to take over. If you want your monkeys out, make them lemurs. That's through creative life source energy. Sing, laugh, dance. Try to get in the moment as much as you can. But this is about Spirit saying to all of us that, just open up. Open up and allow yourself to go in to be who you truly are and embrace all of yourself. All the good, the bad, the ugly, what's saying? They're saying it all lies within, but it's beauty when you see the bigger picture. You understand why you've gone through what you've gone through to be where you are today. And if you're listening to the show, you might be brand new, but I don't think so. I'm not feeling that energy here. I'm feeling like most people that are listening right now are very in line with where they're going. And it's like, keep up the good work because we're helping. We're shining the light for those that are waking up so they can find their way. They'll be pulled to you, like Chris said. Like, this is where, when you're out there, just smiling to somebody, they'll feel your energy. They'll come to you. They'll ask you something, and you can give them a simple answer that is very simple, but can change their day or their week or even their month. And so It's so important to shine the light right now.
And it's equally important to not, I guess we'll be back in a minute.
Okay, keep that spot, and we'll be right back there. See you soon, my friends.
Bringing you the best of the conscious minds in the world. OMTimes Radio, your conscious lifestyle on steroids. Being a radio host on IOM-FM allows you to build your show on a rich platform with the power of the internet to fulfill your outreach goals and connect with a very specialized and global online audience, unlimited by time and distance. OMTimes Radio will provide you with web relevance, a recognizable conscious brand, and with the standard of excellence that has accompanied every single OMTimes endeavor. Host your show with OMTimes Radio Network.
Tune in to The Practical Intuitive, Mind, Body, Spirit for the Real World with me, host Robin Fritz, Mondays at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 Eastern. I'll cover personal and business intuition, animal communication, mediumship, space clearing, past life regression, shamanic insights, energy healing, soul choice, and more, all to help you tap your own intuitive and healing skills. No ifs, ands, or buts.
Hello, I'm John Lithgow. Manatees are unique, among the most amazing animals on Earth, but they're endangered. We pose the greatest threat to their survival. Many manatees are killed or injured by boats or other recreational activities. I'm a writer of children's books, including one about manatees, and I believe education is the key. You can be part of the solution. Please contact Save the Manatee Club right now. Call 1-800-432-JOIN. Thank you.
Welcome back to Vibe Nation Radio, where today Chris Anderson and I are just going with the flow and talking about whatever. Now, before we went to commercial break, Chris was about to say something, so Chris, please do so, and then I'll do the message that Spirit wants to give for the week.
Well, the only thing I was going to point out was, again, that idea of being able to trust and to not be influenced by the appearance of things that appear to be showing up in the world around you, because there's always going to be that image of scary things and things that you can't control and things that you feel are a violation of your rights or humans' rights or of whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very, very important that you not look at the world that you're inhabiting and buy into it. You have to confront the illusions with truth, and the truth is that God's in control. And if you're not willing to acknowledge that, then there could be some rocky roads up ahead for you.
Absolutely, and that goes with like I've been talking about. Take the rose-colored glasses off and see the world for what it is. Right? It goes a little deeper than that, but when you mentioned about the trust, well, Spirit is saying that with those that are tuning in or those that will be tuning in later, that there's a big energy of not trusting, having to watch your back. And this is why Chris was saying it's so important to trust, because a lot of people right now have to watch their back, or they feel they have to watch their back. And they're going back to, this is why they want you guys to use that spread with the Two of Cups. Because a lot of you guys are not seeing the Two of Cups for the power that it is. You're seeing, the opposite. And they're saying this is a tool that you have, a tool that's within you. You have a connection to God. And they're saying you've got all these other spiritual tools, these spiritual modalities. But a lot of people have forgotten about their spiritual tools, or they're trying to use spiritual tools that are not working for them. That they're trying to force certain things when there's so many different modalities that are out there for you to use. And they're saying this is causing a lot of people to stress out because somebody's saying you got to do this, you got to do that. And when you can't do it, you think there's something wrong, and your monkeys come out and they start to go crazy in your head. And they're saying this is just, again, that's that illusion that's being created out there. They're saying that, they want people to see the truth. They want people to see that through all this, disillusion that's going on this planet right now, there is justice taking place. And this is justice about finding God within and relighting the flame inside. And they want people to focus on their apprenticeships of life, that, you might get very impatient with what's taking place. But again, this is a life lesson that so many people are learning. And they just want to say those things that you're not forcing yourself to do right now, they're saying stop it. Don't allow everybody else to take your energy. The things that you're delaying or procrastinating on, they're saying do this and do it now. They're saying listen to what your gut is telling you. Don't listen to what other people have to say, because at the end of the day, this is your journey, no one else's. And this is about you standing up in that strong masculine energy and being strong for yourself. But this is where you take the feminine love and compassion and you bring it into the masculine with the wisdom and knowledge, with common sense and logic, knowing that you want to be equal with where we're going. So, Chris, do you want to add anything to that, my dear?
Well, I think the other thing that's very relevant right now is getting back to that place of your own innocence. I think that's one of the things that we lose awareness of, and we become victims of this idea of I'm all grown up and I need to be responsible and I need to take care of this and do that. And really, in truth, the journey is one of trusting that God is in control of your life and is going to take care of you like you take care of your own children. It's a journey back to the truth of who we are, and that is that perfect innocent being that was created in the image and likeness of God. And so that's what we've got to constantly go back to and reaffirm and forgive ourselves for believing that we were the villain in the story, and getting to a point where we're actually working to make this story optimal for ourselves and everyone around us.
Yes, it's the game of life, right, Chris? We're here to have a game of life, to learn, to experience, and, to grow.
Exactly, and that should be an easy process. The whole idea of growth is not what you do. It is a natural evolution of who you are. So if you think you can force your growth or define your growth, then you're missing the point. So
thank you.
Really,
thank you for saying that.
Yes, the whole thing is again, a journey of self-acceptance and a journey of releasing the idea of the ego that you have created of who the self is. Because, once you get to that point, then you can actually optimize every aspect of your life, and that's an astonishing place to arrive at.
Yes. And I know a lot of people who've worked really hard that are seeing this, and there's so much beauty that lies here on Gaia. And, Mother Earth is getting involved with all these energies, as we can see here. But it's almost like Spirit is saying that, take the time during the day to go outside, to ground, to give love to Mother Earth, and knowing that she'll give it back to you. She's very, very powerful, my friends. And she might not be too happy with what's taking place. But those that give her love, she will give love back. So this is something we can do together. This is something that you can take the time to do this yourself, that, to see that you are part of the bigger picture. Don't think, well, I'm just this one little person. Well, at the end of the day, we're all connected. So see yourself as that, that charger, that glowworm, that when you do your work for yourself, you're lighting up the grid at the end of the day. So it really benefits all involved. It's the ripple effect. It
absolutely is. And I'll leave you with something to ponder here. This is one of the discourses of Wu Xin, who is a fellow who was living in China about 100 years after Confucius. And the name Wu Xin literally means no mind. And one of his thoughts were, something is lost when you stop thinking, and that something is you. The person was not there before you were born, nor will it be there after you die. Instead of struggling with the person, why not leave the person altogether? It does not mean the extinction of the person. It means only seeing it in right perspective. Even if it is only for a second, the experience of know you has the power to be life-altering. It is the very transcendence of the twin prisons of past and future. So when you're working with your meditation, you might want to give that a try. Start working in that direction of bringing all thought to a point of cessation. And when you actually achieve that goal, when it actually happens for you, I will guarantee that you will have a life-altering experience that will make your life more dynamic, more exciting, much more rich and filled with a higher level of joy than you have ever experienced. So that's my share for our day here.
Well, and it makes me laugh because as I'm seeing that, this is the conversation we had just before we got on, that when I was up north, I went to Tobermory and I ended up getting on the boat during the solar eclipse at night. And I was outside. We got to Manitoulin Island. It's pitch black there. Out in the boat, we're taking off again. And we're sitting up on the skylight where everyone's watching the stars, and everyone's leaving. And I'm like, where's everyone going? And I can hear them like, oh, there's no stars out here tonight. And I'm thinking, what do you mean there's no stars out tonight? There's all kinds of them. And I ended up being the only one. After about 20 minutes, everybody left, and I was the only one up on the top deck because I was the only one that could see the stars, which was, again, I was in my own little magical place. I was like, wow, what do you mean there's no stars out? There's hundreds of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it is it's an amazing journey that we are on, and we just have to be living in that state of acceptance, and that's really what it boils down to.
Yes, and Chris and I both help others do this, my friends. Chris, your website again is?
Well, my new website is themiraclewithin.org, and that has all kinds of information on the Course in Miracles. So if you're interested in the Course in Miracles and self-realization and seeing a world that you didn't believe could exist, that would be the direction to head.
Cool. And for those that haven't heard me in a while or are very new to me because they've been listening to Chris, you can find me at carrieturcott.com. And I have a lot of sections with soul work to help people, exercises to help you. There's music for the soul with some meditations there, helping you understand how energy works with a concert so you can feel the energy of the concert. There's some pretty cool stuff there. So check it out. You can find all Vibe Nation radio shows, all the past ones, links to get there. So even the ones that Chris has been on, you can find them through this link. And any readings that I've got many different readings available as well. So, my friends, this is what Chris and I are doing. We're here in service to God. We're here to help you go through this beautiful, like both of us have gone through this beautiful process. And the one thing about it is that we've only just begun. So, I'm lighting up like a Christmas tree at this end. And I'm thinking, woo, I'm loving this. And I'm so looking forward to helping guide the way for so many other people, as I know you are as well, Chris.
Absolutely, yes. And we're moving toward the top of the hour here. So I think it has been a really beautiful opportunity to come together and share once again. And
yes,
did
absolutely.
you have any other profound thoughts to leave our listeners with?
I just feel that, this is about finding your own self-worth, my friends, and to believe in yourself and know that you're an extremely powerful soul having a human experience. And all that wisdom and knowledge, everything you've learned up to now has made you this person that you are. So embrace it and enjoy these next couple of weeks. Because, again, when we get to Fantasy Island, people are going to be a little out there. So ground yourself and be good for yourself, my friends. And Chris, thanks again. I love you, my friend, and we'll talk real soon.
Yes, you have a great rest of the week, and get out there and share the love and pass the love around.
You as well, my friends. Share the love, share the love, share the love. Take care, my friends. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.